Ivan, a sturdy man with sun-bleached hair, carried a backpack containing a saw, a first aid kit, and a tranquilizer rifle. Elena, her gaze steady, held bandages, antiseptics, and a tattered rescuer's notebook. They had been patrolling for several days, moving ever further from the ranger station. Fatigue was crushing them, but their determination remained. They planned their day, expecting to encounter zebras or antelope at a watering hole, knowing full well that the peace of the savannah is always deceptive. On the fourth day of their journey, as the sun was already rising, they noticed an unusual sight. A full-grown lion stood near a solitary baobab tree, its gnarled branches spread out like the arms of a giant. He was motionless, as if petrified. His powerful figure, usually awe-inspiring, seemed weak and vulnerable. Ivan slowed the jeep, and Elena squinted at the animal. Something was wrong. The lion wasn't responding to the noise of the car, its head tilted unnaturally. The rangers exchanged glances, their hearts racing. They got out of the jeep and approached cautiously, weapons at the ready. Up close, it became clear the lion was in trouble. Its neck was trapped between two thick baobab branches, as if in a trap. The fur on its neck was matted with blood and yellow fluid, and the foul odor indicated a serious infection. The lion was emaciated, its ribs protruding, and its eyes half closed. Its breathing was weak, almost inaudible. Ivan swore quietly. He's been here for at least 3 days. The pride is probably gone. Elena nodded, her face turning serious. She noticed that the branches had cut deep into the skin, and the wound around them was inflamed. The lion had likely tried to escape, but only made things worse for itself before its strength gave out. The rangers had no time to waste. They understood it was a matter of life and death. The station was 2 days away. Radio communication was non-existent in this part of the savannah, and they could only rely on themselves. Elena opened the first aid kit, and Ivan checked the tranquilizer. They quickly formulated a plan. Tranquilize the lion, free it, administer first aid, and get it to the station. Every step was risky, but they weren't about to back down. Elena took aim and fired the tranquilizer dart. The lion twitched slightly, then its body went limp, its head drooping. Ivan, gritting his teeth, took up the saw. He began carefully sawing through one of the branches, careful not to damage the wound. The saw creaked, sweat trickled down his face, and Elena monitored the lion's condition, ready to intervene at the slightest sign of trouble. Finally, after tense minutes, the branch gave way, and the lion's neck was freed. They carefully laid him on the ground, careful not to damage his wounded body. Elena began treating the wound. She cleaned it with antiseptic, washing away the pus and blood. The wound was deep and jagged, but Elena worked quickly and confidently, applying a temporary bandage. She administered an antibiotic to the lion to slow the infection. Meanwhile, Ivan prepared a stretcher, and together they transferred the heavy animal to the jeep, securing it with straps to prevent it from being injured during the ride. They placed some dried meat and a bottle of water nearby, hoping this would help it survive. The road to the station was difficult. The jeep bounced over the bumps, and the rangers took turns keeping an eye on the lion. Elena regularly checked its breathing, wetting its lips with water to prevent dehydration. That night, they set up camp, pitching a tent next to the car. They sat silently by the firelight, listening to the lion's faint breathing. Fatigue was creeping up on them, but the thought of saving the animal gave them strength. The next morning, they noticed signs of improvement. The lion stirred slightly and licked the water Elena held to its mouth. It was a small but significant sign. Ivan gripped the steering wheel and drove the jeep further, trying to avoid the most dangerous potholes. By the evening of the second day, they finally saw the outline of the station. Veterinarians were already waiting for them, alerted by radio when contact became available closer to the base. The lion was immediately transferred to the operating room. Doctors under anesthesia cleaned the wound, removed dead tissue and stitched it up. He was given strong antibiotics and nutritional solutions. Ivan and Elena, exhausted but hopeful, awaited news. The next day, the lion opened his eyes and ate for the first time in many days. His gaze, though weak, already sparkled with life. A week later, the lion had strengthened enough to be moved to a spacious enclosure. He began walking, his muscles gradually regaining their strength. The wound on his neck was healing, and new fur hid the scars. Ivan and Elena visited him every day, rejoicing at every step toward recovery. The lion, as if sensing their care, would occasionally softly roar as he greeted them at the fence. On the 12th day, the rangers decided that the lion was ready to return to the savannah. They loaded him into the jeep and drove to that very baobab tree. When the cage opened, the lion slowly emerged, his paws confidently stepping on the grass. He stopped, inhaled the air of freedom, and looked at the rangers. Words could not express the gratitude in his eyes. Then he turned and, proudly raising his head, disappeared into the golden grass of the savannah. Ivan and Elena stood silently, watching him go. This mission had become more than just a job for them. It reminded them why they risked themselves every day to give wildlife a chance to live. Returning to the station, they knew that this day would forever remain in their hearts, the day they saved the king of the Kalahari. Friends, thank you for taking the time to read this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to support us. See you in future wildlife stories.